This is the first video in this entire course. This course used to be $3,000 and it's now here on YouTube for you for free. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I realized that a lot of stuff on YouTube is educational and that can be supportive, but it's not actually eliciting transformation and change. And in order to do that, you have to have an experience that you go through, because experiences are what shape us. And so if we want to change, we need a new experience, and that requires a guided process, not just more information. So in order to change your life, I decided to put this out here on YouTube, and I realized over the past decade that I've been gifted around $500,000 worth of coaching and courses and retreats, and I really felt called to contribute and give back. And so this is my way of doing that with this course right here. And this is part one of that course. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Kevin Crenshaw. I also go by the Heart Guy, and I support people with matters of the heart, healing and love being two of those things. This is a guided process for healing codependency, finding self-love, and creating inner peace. This course has had over 200 students go through it live with me and has been refined multiple times. And this process freaking works. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You know, I run into old students 4 years later and they say that this course completely changed the trajectory of their life because it changed the relationship they have with themselves and that they have with other people. Whether they were in a relationship, they were looking to call somebody in, or they were just working on themselves, this was the course that was the catalyst for that. And part one of this series is this video, and it's very confronting. We do different processes and use different modalities than the other weeks, but in this week it's a lot of writing. So you can get clarity, because when you have clarity, you can go through the rest of the process with a lot more grace. You know, there's a quote that I love that says, if you're going to aim at nothing, you're surely going to hit it. Nothing. And I think that a lot of people doing the work, and they're in the inner work, are kind of just doing the work to do the work. And that can be helpful. But I mean, at least for me, I want to love myself and heal my relational patterns so that I can live an amazing life and have an amazing relationship. And so this video in part one covers that part of the process, long-term, or maybe it's closer to you than you think. What is it you're looking to call in? Because when you get clear on that, you have a very clear roadmap that's also custom to you and where you're at in life right now, to go, oh, this is exactly the inner work that I specifically need to do in order to manifest this. And it'll fit in the framework of this entire process in this course. So without further ado, here's spring chicken version of me from 2019, who was really excited to film the first video of this course. And I really captured the essence of my excitement in this first video. Also check down below for the homework assignment, because each part of this process has a practical application with it, and that will always be shown in the description, or I will say it in the video. But because part one is a lot of journaling, it's a lot of writing, all the questions and everything are going to be posted in the caption down below, so be sure to check that out. Super excited you're here. I'm super excited to be doing this work, and I just want to say before we start, thank you for trusting me and taking this leap of faith and even having the courage to work on this stuff with yourself, because it's a lot of tough love. It's a lot of deep work. We're not talking surface level stuff here. So it takes a certain person and a certain amount of courage and a certain amount of desire to want to do something like this. So I'm really proud of you, and I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm excited. So what we think is the problem usually isn't the problem. There's always a deeper level to things. So we're going to get clear on what you want in the long run. It doesn't have to be right now, but with that in mind, we're going to help you become the best version of you to get that into your life. We're going to remove, because here's the thing, love isn't about learning new stuff. Relationships, yeah, but unconditional love is our human nature. Judgments, fears, all of these other things are learned behaviors. And so I'm here to help you unlearn all this stuff, clear the air, build the foundation of self-love, so that then you can build a house on it of relationships and getting what you want and all these other things. So hopefully this makes sense. Trust the process, and let's just jump into things. So I mentioned before, even if you don't want a relationship right now, let's focus on the outcome in the long run, and we're going to help uncover maybe there's some patterns that have been at place, and maybe you're aware of these patterns. Well, we're going to get really clear on it. So here's the deal. Your love story, which is your subconscious beliefs around love and relationships and all that jazz, and yourself, your love story is 80% of your success in all of this stuff. 20% is actually how you're showing up and your way of being. So that's your actions, but also who you are as a person. And a lot of us are focusing on the strategy, self-love, or that we're focusing on choosing the right partner, we're focusing on setting healthy boundaries, we're focusing on all these other things that are really great, but it fails to put a focus on your love story. Another word for love story could be your worldview, your psychology around love and relationships, and your way of being. Another way of thinking about that is your strategies or your actions, right? And that's 20% of things. So what we're going to work on is your love story, because what we think is a problem isn't the problem. We think, I need to be better at picking the right person. I need to set healthier boundaries. Again, we went through all these things. When we can change the worldview and the way you think about love and relationships, then you can have a different experience of it, and you can implement all of those strategies, and they'll stick and be a part of you, and that's where the magic happens. So you really quick on the love story thing too. Maybe this is number one. I'm putting this in here because it's super important. Answer the question, what do you think, or what, no, not even what do you think about, let's say this. What gut reaction do you have? Like in your gut emotional reaction do you have when you see somebody else displaying PDA? Two people all over each other, they're happy and in love. What happens? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel angry? Do you feel jealous? Do you feel sadness? What do you feel? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Because that's the answer. Here's the thing too. With all of this stuff and all of this work, I want you to think with your heart, not your head. Your head's going to get in the way. Your head's going to say, I want to figure out the right answer to things. No. The right answer is what's true for you. Truth is the right answer. So come from your heart on this, which is usually your gut reaction. So with a lot of the, and I'm going back to the overview of this program, with a lot of the journaling stuff, because some days we're not going to be journaling, but some days we are, and today's one of those days. Maybe do it on the treadmill or something. Get your body moving so there's some adrenaline running through your body and some hormones going and your blood's pumping so you can get out of your head. Because if you're sitting down really comfortable and just kind of thinking, you're thinking too much. And I want you to feel from your heart on a lot of this stuff, and that's going to land because your head is a place to keep you safe. Your head is a place, it's literally your brain's job is to keep you alive. Think primally, right? So it's safe to go up here. And for a lot of us, this has meant pain. But emotions don't mean just pain. You can feel joy and happiness and all these other things. And it's your thalamus, the part of your brain that processes pain, also processes emotional pain. So when we're dealing with this stuff, it's literally like stabbing yourself in a way, so that you'll have that pushback. But just be aware of that. So answer the question, what's your feeling around PDA? I'm going to write this stuff down, or if it's down or it's the next slide. I don't know what this is for Teachable on how it's done yet, because I'm working through that after I film this video. But I'm going to write all this stuff out for you guys. But journal on it if you want. Now, first, I guess this is the second bit of homework, is your love story. So what's your current psychology, worldview, love story about? And you're going to come to this almost as in a third-person perspective, all right? So you're going to think about it literally as if you're writing a story. So first you're going to look into this, and when I ask you to journal about it, I'm going to prompt you with some questions. And you're not going to do it now, by the way. I want you to do this after the video because I want you to get all the information, then execute, okay? But at least journal the questions down. Write it like a book. So I'm going to name, instead of Kevin, or you could say Kevin, you know, I'm going to say Kevin and this is my old love story, okay? So, or your current love, so let's say old because it's not current. You're done with that shit, right? Cross out old love story. Kevin used to be the kid who sought validation in others. He was always looking to fill up voids with feeling loved through his mother first, then relationships once he left the house, and he was always doing everything, and these women were never available for him. He was being used. His love was, he had an association of love as a form of punishment because he was choosing unavailable women
and he never could be with somebody where it was easy. There was always tension and all these things, right? So you're writing your own love story. If you've never written a book, welcome. we're gonna write a novel here. No, I'm joking. But seriously, here's something you can think about. What patterns? So answer these questions. Partner patterns, meaning patterns in your choosing with other people or your way of being with these other people. So my pattern was they were all unavailable in some way or another, emotionally unavailable, or they weren't comfortable with being in a relationship publicly with me, whatever it was, right? Partner patterns. Then you have relationship patterns, meaning the relationship in between you and two individuals. So, for me, it was very hot and cold was my pattern. It was all hot or it was really cold was a big part of my pattern. Emotional patterns within you. How did that make you feel? Me, it was anxious, and I felt like I was walking on wires all the time. And then story patterns. So for me, it was almost like I had to prove love in order to get love. I had to make a stand and be the man and go above and beyond before they would actually love me. And that was the story that I had in my head. So what's yours? And write this out as a third person using your name. This was in past tense. And that's the second part of it. What's your past love story? Then your third piece of homework. By the way, I'm jumping into things pretty quickly today. Next week and the following weeks, we'll talk a lot more on the subjects. Also before I give you homework and during the video calls that we're gonna do as a group together, we'll dive deeper into stuff and you can ask me questions. So that's also an opportunity for you to dive deeper into this stuff. But number 3 is you're gonna write this down. Belief of 5 things. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Love, relationships, men, women, and self. So you're gonna write down what's my belief of love. What's my belief of relationships? What's my belief of men? What's my belief of women? What's my belief of self? Now, really quick on this. The more words you write on all this stuff, the better. I want you to maybe use talk to text or maybe, I don't know, but think depth, okay? If you stay shallow, you give one-word answers, again, that's avoidance. So if you really want to dig this sucker clean, write a lot. Paragraphs even. Do it. Surprise yourself and put some music on and have fun with it. It doesn't have to be a homework. But I want to say real quick too, even in a homosexual relationship or if you're in a same-sex relationship, the reason I put men and women on there is because it also affects our friendships or the way that we can view people. So what's your belief of all these things? And then you're also number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is your experience of all of these things. Now, Kevin, what's the difference between belief and experience? So you're going to go through that same list again with the experience of, by the way, your experience of love, your experience of relationships, your experience of men, women, and self. Your experience is your subconscious belief. That's when it gets really nitty gritty. Now, if it's the same, meaning your belief of love and your experience of love when you journal on it are the exact same.
We'll get back to 2019 version of me in just a second. I wanted to drop in and share the importance of community because this process can be tough. You might have questions. And so for that reason, I created a free community chat down below where I can be there to support you. I'll be doing group coaching every once in a while, and you can meet other like-hearted people who are also going through this course together. And you'll meet other like-hearted people who are also going through this course, and you can build. And it really is a safe space to lean in and get support as you're doing this work. So check the description down below to join that free group chat. Also, if you have enjoyed this so far, I would really appreciate some support. That includes subscribing to this video. That includes subscribing to my YouTube channel. It takes 2 seconds and it really helps me out. Also, sharing this video with a friend. If you found this supportive and you've thought of somebody in your life who might also benefit from this video, it's completely free. And this course used to be $3,000. So I really would love to get this out to as many people as possible. And I need your help in that. So it takes 2 seconds. Just copy the link, text them and say, hey, I'm doing this course and I thought of you as well. All right. Thanks.
it's almost coming to terms with. Your experience then changes your belief. You see what I mean? If it's different answers, then that's your subconscious, and your belief is still holding on to hope, which is a good thing. So my belief about women used to be that they're all cheaters. Actually, my experience of women was that they're all cheaters. My belief of women was that they were incredibly beautiful and they were healing and all these other amazing things. But my first 2 relationships cheated on me. And so that was my experience. And that's why I had trust issues. Until I did this exercise and I was like, fuck, all women aren't cheaters. And I was recognizing that that was causing me to be standoffish towards relationships and more picky, and it was attracting certain women who weren't available, who was hot and cold. You see the pattern? So I was then going into the experience of women. I then had the awareness, and then I was able to change that in terms of, what my new experience is, and that's number 5. So you want to write down my new experience is going to be. And it kind of ties in with 6, because 6 is your new love story. So my new experience of love is one like this. My new experience of relationships is one like this. Of men, of women, of self. I'm going to view myself this way when I look in the mirror. Detail. And your new love story, you're going to go through the same thing. Instead of patterns, you're going to think about, this is your chance to get picky. Who's that person you're looking for? What's the relationship like in the middle of you guys? How do you want to show up? What do you really want? Who do you really need? What do you guys talk about together? Like, go into depth. What is this narrative in this story? Do you find this person quickly? Does it take a while and a few more people? What is it? But this is your chance to write the new narrative, and you're going to write it as if it already happened. In a book, Kevin found this woman who blah, 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 all these amazing things that you really want. Because here's the deal. This is your outcome with your new love story. And that is what we're here to help rewire. So again, I'm coming at things in a roundabout way where we're kind of going backwards before we attack what needs to be done. Next week, we're going to get nitty-gritty on releasing things. Today was a lot more about awareness. And awareness, by the way, is only step number 1. Again, I mentioned you guys might have I know it, I have this awareness. Still do the exercise, because I promise you there's more there. When you say, I know, you cut off all growth. You shut down your learning, and you get laid back. It's like, I know it. Think about, like, if you were a teacher, if you're ever teaching something to a group of people, and then they're like, oh yeah, I got that, in like a cocky way to everything you say. You're doing that to yourself, and you can be stopping yourself in that way. So awareness is an addiction for our ego. And in 2019 of me filming this, it's very rampant on social media to talk about things and go, oh, that's why that happened. Because it's amazing, right? You see why. You're answering the why question. But the question isn't why, it's how. How did this start? And what can you do about it? And that's what we're going to dig deep into on this program. So this is the exciting part. Whoa, that's why this is all happening. And then we're going to get to work. So the work starts now. The work starts here. The more awareness you can get out of this exercise, the better. The more you write, the better. When we talk about things and when we relate to people, there's certain chemicals that are released in the brain during that communication that is similar to opioids. So a lot of society is drugging themselves to feel these chemicals and to feel this connection when we can get it from simply being connected. So when it comes to writing your new love story, I wrote some clarity questions down below. And this is a list of questions that are gonna really prompt you with some deep thought, because we have this idea of what we want, and it's like we haven't ever solidified it. And so it's really important to have some clarity with what we want, because when we have clarity, we have power to change things. And a lot of us just know what we don't want. This is getting focused on what we do want, and a lot of us have wounds from the past because our parents would never let us ask for what we wanted, or we never got what we wanted, or we got what we wanted and then it hurt us and we thought, oh, well, my judgment's off, so apparently what I want doesn't matter, whatever it is. So there's a lot of wounds here, okay? And I just wanted to talk on that really fast because you want to make sure that you're leaning into this process, asking for everything, all of it, all of who you want, all of what you want, and be greedy here, because this is your love life and this is your own happiness. And when you're writing it out, it should feel like you're writing out a fairy tale. Like, oh my God, this doesn't exist. Fuck, this is a long shot. But that's why the end is all about you. And the last few questions are all about how do you need to show up. And that's the majority of this program, is working on you. That's why we did it a little backwards in terms of, you know, even if you're not in a relationship right now, you don't want to be in a relationship right now, you're answering these questions so that you can get perspective on who you need to show up as. Because that's the thing. What you want in somebody is a reflection of what you want within yourself most of the time. So if you want somebody who's loyal and committed, that might show up something within you of you want yourself to be loyal and committed, whether you're that now or you inspire or aspire to be that, right? So that's also something to look at, is a lot of these questions you're wanting from yourself. And that's the truth of it all. So you're going to write these out like a little kid in Christmas. Flesh it out. Don't just write one-word answers. Actually give paragraphs here. Go into detail that's going to hit you different in your subconscious, so your brain's going to be like, oh, that's tangible. Somebody who I feel like this with versus who is just one thing. So don't bullet point it. You can start that way, but please spend time, flesh it out, sit with the process, because the process starts now, and this is your first homework assignment that's really deep. So flesh it out. Like, have fun with it. And the world is the opportunity here. You can literally get whatever you ask. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back who didn't hear me. You can literally get whatever you ask, but you have to believe it. And this whole process is going to be helping you get this. So this is the outcome that you're setting for yourself for the long run. Right. Awesome. We'll dive into the process. I just want to make this quick video to explain like the clarity questions. I asked them for a reason. Try to avoid one-word answers or one-sentence answers. Actually flesh it out, color it in, detail, 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 detail. Is really going to help out here. And they're hard questions, so maybe it'll take some time. Again, sit with it. Your brain's going to want to avoid because it's uncomfortable because you don't know the answer. I always got to have the answer. And what's right, the right way to do this is what's true for you. What's right is what's true. Own your truth. Write it out. And have some freaking fun with it, all right? And I will see you guys next week.